Hello, Magnolia Elementary families. This is our first community update. I just wanted to take some time to talk to you about all the information you've been receiving and kind of sum it all up in one video for you. So we are so excited to begin the school year. The teachers have been working so hard to welcome your kids in a unique way for the 2020-2021 school year. There was a Senate bill that was passed to make this year's learning look different than last spring. So I wanted to go over a few of the differences with you. There will be daily live interaction and instruction. So the teachers will connect with students each day through an online instruction or other forms of communication. There will be synchronous and asynchronous learning. Synchronous learning is when learning happens in real time through a specific platform at a specific time. During synchronous learning, multilateral interactions can occur. For instance, teachers to students, or students to teachers, or students can be teaching students, but it's in real time and the teacher is there. Learning activities could be direct instruction, guided practice, collaboration with peers, and some independent practice with the teacher there and available to assist if need be. Asynchronous learning will also be a portion of your child's day. During this time, your child will engage in independent learning activities not guided by a teacher, but they are assigned by your child's teacher. Kind of think of it as like homework. So in grades TK through 6, everyone will receive 150 minutes of synchronous learning, and where it kind of differs is the asynchronous learning depending on grade level. On Monday, the instructional minutes look a little bit different because depending on the week, the students may be doing PE, band, art, music, or health. And then they will engage in asynchronous learning assigned by their teacher as well. Also on Mondays, during the synchronous learning time, if your child needs a little extra support or needs to be pulled for a small group, the teacher will set up a time to do that. This is also a time for parent support, that the teachers will also reach out to you and assist you on some things if you're needing help. So the first week of school looks a little different. We start school on Wednesday, and the first 3 days are kind of going to be like a digital learning minimum day. So based on your feedback and feedback from the teachers on how digital learning went in the spring, we realized that having a whole class on at one time virtually may not be what's best for kids. It was difficult to engage or instruct or differentiate for students when we had a whole class on at one time. So this year we've divided the entire class into Group A and Group B. And we tried to do it as best cutting in the alphabet, but sometimes it didn't work. So if you're in Group A, you will be, for the first 3 days, doing your synchronous learning time from 8 to 9:30. If you're in Group B, you will be doing your synchronous learning time from 12 to 1:30. After the first week of school, we'll go back to our regular schedule for distance learning. So Mondays, the students will have those extra lessons by a PE teacher, a music teacher, a health teacher, or some extra support from their teacher, and then engage in synchronous learning. Tuesday through Friday, if you're in A group, you will go from 8 to 10:30 live with your teacher, and if you're in B group, you will go from 12 to 2:30 live with your teacher. So let's talk about attendance and engagement and how that's different this year as well. So students' attendance and engagement during distance learning will be tracked and recorded daily for both synchronous and asynchronous learning time. So if a student is here in synchronous learning, they can also be marked engaged in synchronous learning. If a student is completing their asynchronous learning and turning it in, they will be marked for engagement for asynchronous learning. If a student is absent, it's very important that you call and let us know. Just by calling, a student is engaged for that day. So when we don't hear from a parent and we don't see a student in synchronous learning, we will definitely make every effort to reach out and make sure everything's okay and you have what you need and you're supported. At Magnolia, we will implement a re-engagement strategy for students who are absent from distance learning for 3 or more school days in a week. For special ed students, the schools will provide the accommodations necessary to serve students with special needs. This will be done virtually and sometimes on a one-on-one basis. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Magnolia's website, how to get to the Learning Hub, which is a great resource for parents, and then how to get to Magnolia's Hub, which is a great resource for distance learning. When you go to the Upland Unified School District's webpage, you can search by school under Our Schools, Elementary Schools. And when you choose Magnolia Elementary, you'll be taken to our School Loop website. Here's where we keep a lot of our up-to-date information under Mustang News. But I wanted to talk about these 2 new icons over here for you to click on. When you click on the UUSD Hub, you'll be taken to the Learning Hub. And here you can see there is resources for staff, students, and families. You can also find our district's vision, mission, and outcomes. And when you scroll back up to the top, in the upper right-hand corner, you'll notice something saying School Hubs. When you click on that, you'll be taken to a list of our schools. When you click on Magnolia, you'll be taken to Magnolia's site. I wanted to talk about this homepage a little bit. You'll see that there are links to each grade level, including PE and Visual and Performing Arts. Down here are some buttons that have some just general information, and right here will be the video that you're watching right now. Underneath, there's some specialized supports for families, and then there's a message from myself right here. You can follow us on social media right here. Please make sure you follow our PTA. We've got some great events planned for you this year. So going back up to the top, if my student is in kindergarten, I would click on the crayons. And the kindergarten teachers will be right here. Underneath, you will find a link to their email, to their online classroom, or a platform they're using for synchronous learning. When you click on your teacher's picture, you'll be taken to Clever or another landing page. When students log in to Clever, they'll see a vast variety of online platforms available for them to do their asynchronous learning or to do learning on their own. I also wanted to point out learning activities right here. These are asynchronous learning activities that your child's teacher might be assigning for Mondays. And you can navigate through with these arrows on the bottom. There are also activities your children can do after they're done with learning. And then down here are just some additional resources for learning. We're really excited for a quick grab and go on Tuesday, August 25th. Where you will come on campus for a very brief time. You'll proceed to your child's classroom. You'll make sure you're physically distancing yourself. You will need to wear a mask. You'll walk up to the classroom door, get your child's materials, and then proceed back to your car. But please make sure you're wearing your mask and you're physically distancing. We would never want you to socially distance. I want you always to socialize. You can see the schedule right here. Also, this bit.ly is a link to let us know if you need a Chromebook. It's really important that you fill that link out if you are requesting a Chromebook, because it will help us prepare to be able to give you a Chromebook while you pick up your materials as well. If I were you, I'd think about bringing a backpack that day. I know the teachers have some really cool things for your kiddos to pick up. That evening on Tuesday, from 4 to 4:50, are 2 sessions of our virtual meet and greet. This is kind of taking the place of our traditional back to school night, but we wanted to do it before we start school so that you would have the information that you need to make sure that your kids can engage in synchronous learning the next day. Teachers will be emailing you links to join one of the sessions below. You only need to join one session, and also inside your folder, there will be a flyer with the links on them as well. Class lists go live tonight, Thursday, August 20th. Boy, this was a challenging time to make class lists. We're basically opening up 2 tracks in one school. We have families that feel comfortable with their children attended a blended learning environment when it's okay to return to school. And then we have families that need to meet their families' needs by keeping them in a distance learning track all year long. You can imagine how hard this was to reorganize all of the teachers and the students and then create balanced classes within each learning model. I am so proud of our teachers who helped with this process. They put in hours and hours of work to ensure classes were balanced academically and behavior-wise. If after 2 weeks you have some issues, contact Mrs. Scruggs and she can let you know what our process is. Thank you for your patience and grace this year. I have a couple parent tips because I know the silver lining in your child's educational success is the partnership and involvement of you as a parent. Please establish routines and expectations for your children. Choose a good place for them to learn. Stay in touch with your child's teacher. Right now, communication is so huge. Communicate back and forth your needs and your child's needs. Help students own their learning. Celebrate little successes. Begin each day by checking in with them. In the morning, you might ask, what do you think you're going to learn today? What do you most like about synchronous learning? And in the evening, some great questions would be, how far did you get on your asynchronous learning task today? Did you meet any of your goals? What did you discover that was new? How could you make tomorrow better than today was? Simple conversations like this are so important to our kids. Thank you for all you do and your partnership in your child's educational success. This year we have a slogan for our school and it's anchored together. Because as far apart as we are, we will be having activities throughout the year that will anchor us together. I'm super excited to meet with the students who earn virtual recess with the principal. We've got some really fun activities that we're going to do together. And I know the PTA is working on anchoring us together in some fun and exciting events for the year. Well, that was it for our community update. I have a link here. If you have any questions, please go to bit.ly/magquestion. And in the next community update, we'll try and group them by topic and address your question. Also, there's a space in there for some good news. It's always great to hear some good news, so please share that with us as well. Well, families, let's kick off a great year with grace, patience, and support. We will be anchored together. Take care.